Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first 2019 edition of NFL Film Breakdown right here on the Mad Men Sports Network. I'm Brian Sullivan. Congratulations to the New England Patriots on winning the Super Bowl. The game hasn't even happened yet as I'm recording this, but I think we all know how that's going to end. And quite frankly, if I end up looking stupid, I'm alright with that. So anyway, though, without further ado, the season is over, which means it's time for my favorite time of the year, at least, the NFL draft season. And I am so excited to get to this. And I figured I'd start with a pretty quick, easy one. Josh Jacobs, the running back out. This kid is very talented. Now, he's not Saquon Barkley. Turns out Saquon Barkley was a once-in-a-generation running back. He's really special, as we can see. But that's not to take anything away from Josh Jacobs. He's a very talented back. There's not a ton of film on him out there that I was able to find, at least. But I did manage to get a few games. And it's pretty obvious right off the bat that this kid is going to be a pretty talented back, and some team is going to get a very solid player because in the end, really what you want out of running back is somebody who can break tackles and create extra yards. And how do you do that? Usually from two things. One, being able to, get off to a hot start with your speed, being able to change your direction quickly, and being able to be powerful and churn your legs. And he is very good at both of those. So let's get right to it again. Quick one. Let's get to what makes Josh Jacobs one of the better running backs in this draft class. So what jumped off screen for me immediately is that Josh Jacobs is a violent runner. He really has all of the traits you want in a power back. He's the type of player, he churns his legs for those extra yards. He's great at lowering his shoulder, has a nasty stiff arm. All those traits you want to see in a power runner. A guy like a Marshawn Lynch, a guy like a LeGarrette Blount, a guy like a Marion Barber, if you want to go a little throwback in quotes. And so this is the first play right here. We'll take a look at this. You see he's lined up in the Wildcat. And just watch as he kind of lowers his shoulder here and gets a few extra yards right there. And he does a nice job, a little stiff arm there, ends up breaking 3 tackles really and getting some extra yards. And what I like is that when he lowers his shoulder, he kind of keeps his head away from it as well, avoiding any sort of concussion or anything like that. And I don't know if he's going to do that every time, but you'll kind of go on. I'll show you later on. He has some very good instincts, does a very good job of quickly processing things as they're moving along. Here's one more. Again, lowers the shoulder, already off balance, nice stiff arm against that second defender, and then takes 2 more to bring him down. And even then, you couldn't really tell from there. He was falling forward and gets that extra yard or 2. So here's another one right here where he does a nice job of bouncing to the outside. He really gets to top speed very quickly, lowers that shoulder there, plows this defender over, and gains an extra yard. Don't remember if he got the first down here. I think he did. Boom. Just absolutely vicious. Right here, here's another one. Handoff. He just refuses to go down. And I know when you watch that kind of in real speed, it doesn't look that impressive. But let's just take one more look here. You pause it right here. There's a lot of running backs, if you want to go right here, where you think they'd be brought down. You have this one defender literally inches away. You have another defender who's about to get him here. And you have a third defender right here who kind of slipped through this gap. And yet he's able to kind of just slip off of both of them. Blocker does help here. And he manages to retain his balance and get forward for that extra first down. I know that's not a super crazy, exciting run, but that's what you need at the next level. You want guys who are going to just be able to pick up those first downs on second and short and continue to move those chains. He's not a super big play runner, although it's really just because he didn't have a lot of opportunities. He didn't carry the ball a lot. He split some carries with Damian Williams, who's also very talented. He does have the speed to break off for a big play, but in the end, he's the type of player who's going to churn forward, get you those extra yards when you need them. Here's another one. This is one of my favorite ones. Cuts through 1 defender, 2 defender, 3, 4, 5. That's another play. And look at the time as well. 4th quarter. Now they're up by a lot, but think about it. It's the 4th quarter. He wears down these defenses, slips through the hole, and again, right here, you'd think, when you look at this screen right here, you'd think that he'd be down at this point, but no, he refuses to go down. That's a Marshawn Lynch type run right there, and you're going to see a lot more of that at the next level. And that's not a slouch defense. Mississippi State has some very talented players. Here's one more right here. This kind of also shows how he's able to kind of get to the edge quickly, and that nice stiff arm right there turns what could have been really no gain at all. Right here, you kind of see this 1 defender, 2 defenders. A lot of times, a lot of runners will kind of be brought down, maybe right at the line of scrimmage or 1 yard shy. Does a nice job of just a little quick cut right there to kind of get number 23 off his feet, and then he gets out, and that's a nice little stiff arm right there. Really just does a fantastic job of creating extra yards by himself. I'm usually a little wary of these Alabama running backs because their offensive line is always so great, but Josh Jacobs did plenty on his own. Mention his power, and again, the other thing that really helps running backs kind of create some yards on their own is when they're able to kind of change their direction quickly, also when they're able to get to their top speed pretty much immediately. Just that combination of quickness and acceleration. Now, if I had to pinpoint a weakness of Josh Jacobs, is that I can't really get a read on his vision too much. He did have a lot of holes, and also he doesn't quite have that explosiveness, that burst that you'd like to see out of really like a top running back prospect, but he does, again, have the acceleration and the quickness. He's able to change his direction very quickly without losing any of his speed, and he gets to his top speed almost immediately. So here's just a few examples of some plays like that. First one here, out of the shotgun, gets the ball, does a nice job just quickly making number 12 there look like an absolute fool. You also notice the way he kind of falls forward, and again, we'll watch this kind of in slow motion. Right here is where I like it. You see this right here. Number 12 has plenty of space on both sides. Number 6 here also kind of has a nice easy shot at him. And look at the way he kind of just quickly, so quickly and subtly is able to shift direction, but immediately does not lose an ounce of speed and is able to turn what could have been just a short little 5-yard, 3-yard gain into a major 15-yard pickup and a first down. It's not, again, anything super incredible, but he makes it look much easier than it is. Here's another one right here, and again, kind of 1, 2, ends up making 2 defenders look foolish, and gets to the goal line, gets past the goal line for the touchdown. Again, you see it right here. He's running, and you'd think these 2 defenders would have him. The way he just jump cuts and quickly gets by them. Also a combination of power as well, because the one defender does have his arms on him, but it's just that nice quick jump cut. He has such quick little jump cuts and moves right there that allow him to make defenders look foolish on a regular basis. There's a reason this kid was recruited by Alabama. Here's one more right here. This isn't quite necessarily the change of direction ability, his acceleration or anything like that, but this is just kind of shows, again, I mentioned his quick instincts. He's a really good aware player. Now you're going to watch this play right here. Notice the ball, the snap is kind of fudged up. Little miscommunication, and yet he still manages to get in there for an easy touchdown. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that that wasn't a gaping hole. I mean, look at that. But in the end, very rarely, especially on the goal line, are you going to get opportunities like that with a wide open, a gaping hole like that. And he manages to take advantage of, look, he bumped into Tua, and yet he immediately is able to just kind of get back on his feet and take advantage. Now, if he was more thrown off by that play right there, one of those defenders would have gotten him, and he would not have been able to capitalize on a key situation. Now, again, this was against Tennessee. Tennessee's not very good. Alabama would have won either way. But in the NFL, that's the thing, is that even if the play doesn't go 100% according to plan, he gets to his top speed so quickly, and he gets back. He's not thrown off by a play like that. And that's going to pay huge dividends if he ends up going to a team where maybe there's an inexperienced quarterback. Maybe the quarterback messes up the handoff, something like that. Josh Jacobs has the maturity and the awareness and the instincts to pull it off. So overall, I really do Jacobs. He's worth a late, mid to late first round pick, if you ask me. I do need to watch some more of the running backs to make sure there's not an abundance right now, but this doesn't feel like the strongest running back class as opposed to kind of the past few years. Now, again, he's not Saquon Barkley. He's not a generational running back, but if you need a starting, especially a first, second down back, he'll get you there. You saw in some of the highlights too. He's a very good receiving threat, very good speed, can catch the ball out of the backfield. Again, he's not a crazy, Zeke Elliott, Todd Gurley type of prospect, but he's a very talented back. Teams are going to be very lucky to have him, and he is not going to lose yards very often as long as he stays healthy. Absolutely worthy for a team. I mean, if the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round want to take him and pair him up with James Conner, that's perfectly fine if there's not a really talented defensive player on the board or something like that. Some of those teams with good offensive lines already, if you want to grab him, snag him, and pair him up with another running back, absolutely worth it. I think he's going to be a very good player, potential Pro Bowler at the next level. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You can see all the information about where to subscribe, check out our website, all of that good stuff in the comments. I'll hopefully be back next week with another video for you. Thanks again.